right, so as you can see, it shows us this UI. So let's say we want to collect this. It appears in our GUI. So let's just speed run through this. And it says objective complete. And now we're on the third stage. We're going to continue our story-based game. So as you can see, I did some work off camera and made a cute little map. Pretty simple, but obviously I don't want to build during the tutorial because it's just boring, right? So we're just gonna do some new features. So one of them is going to be an objective feature. So in every story-based game, you're going to have like objectives to do, so like quests or missions. And obviously, that's how you kind of progress through the game. It's pretty much a fundamental part of every story-based game. So last tutorial, we actually did a dialogue system, so we're going to integrate more of that into this video as well. To start off, actually, we're just going to make a module called objective, and from this module, it's going to be basically a class where we can instantiate objects, and these objects will be objectives, right? Quests or something like that. So whenever we want to make a new quest for the players to do, we'll instantiate, we'll make a new object from this module, and we'll basically this object will handle all the stuff related to quests. So for example, progression and initiation of the quest and stuff like that. So we're gonna actually start off with a module, and we're gonna call this objective. So let's do this. So this will be in our objective. So let's call this objective. But let's make this global. All right. And another thing is, it will be confusing if you don't know a lot about meta tables. But meta tables basically can be used to make classes from modules. And so actually, I'll explain everything later on. But basically, so you can have objective. So this will be our module, and do underscore index, which is a meta method, and then we'll set this to objective. So whenever we're going to make a constructor for this class, and then every time we initiate want to make a new objective object, it will make this as a default value and inherit all the methods from this module. So we're going to make methods in this objective module, and every time we make a new object from constructor, this will make it so it will inherit from this. It will give us access to these methods for the object that we want to make. It's going to kind of sound confusing, but I'll kind of explain later on. So let's make a new constructor. So objective. So this will be a function. So do objective.new. Then once we make a new objective, we want some properties for it. So one of them will be the name of the objective. So for example, let's say we want to make an objective for collecting wood for a campfire, which is what I'm planning to do. This will be like collect wood, right? And then the items required, which would be a number. Oops, not number value, but number. So this is how much we need for the objective to be complete. So it's gonna be pretty simple. So we're gonna make a new object from this. And so let's just make a new table like this. So new objective equals empty table, and we're going to do set meta table, the new table we want, and then the meta table, which is the objective. All right. So now this object will basically inherit from this class, and it will also give us access to, if we want to make new methods or functions in this class, it will give us access to it. So right now this is just a static method. We're gonna make some methods, for example, start and end, that will make us start an objective and basically keep count of how much, I guess, items we have collected and the amount of progress we have. So yeah, so this will make a new object. So now we want some stuff, so some properties. So we have name and items required, so we can do this. So we'll have new objective. So this will be the object. So new objective dot name. We'll call it this equals name, and then new objective the items required equals items required. So we also want an event connection. So once we make a new objective, we want to keep track of how much items we have, how much progress we have. And we're gonna make like a number value for this. So we're gonna keep this in store as well. And every time this number value changes, we want to also keep track, right? And so this will be an event connection. And I'll actually show you how this works later on. But we'll just do a connection so event connection. We'll set this to null first, and then we'll also make a values for the actual number, the integer or number value that we're going to keep track of. So local count, so we'll call this like objective count instance dot new int value dot name equals name objective count dot parent game dot storage, and then we'll actually make a folder for this to keep track. So call this objective. Okay. And then we'll make a property for this as well. So new objective dot objective count equals object count. All right. So now we have basically initiated all the stuff we need for an objective. So this is our story sequence that we made in our last tutorial. So if you want to make a new stage, all you have to do is copy and paste this. But another thing though is, okay, and you make this number 2 as well. But another thing we didn't cover over is there is an issue with this because we want to go to the next stage, but only after all the dialogues have basically been generated, right? So since we only have one set of dialogues, as you can see right here, have one set of dialogues, we'll only wait 1 second and then print finish stage. But we only want to go to the next stage once all of these dialogues, the messages in the dialogue have basically been generated and all the players have seen the messages, right? So a solution for that is we can calculate how much time it takes for all the messages to basically be generated, right, by this utility function that we made, right? So we can actually make a new function for this module, and we'll do something like util.calculate text generation. Okay, and then we'll send it an array of messages, right? Utils. And so right now we do know that there is a small delay for each character of a message, right? And it's basically based off this. So instead of putting this here, we can put this here. Let's make this a global, and let's call this text speed, right? And there's also not only this. So let's update this. So text 1 over text speed. So there's this amount of delay between each character, but there's also some delay between the messages. And if you go to local script, there is a small delay between the messages. So that's also something we have to take into account. It's probably a better way to probably have some kind of global variable that we can get this from in the future. But for now, we'll just say this is the constant amount of delay for each message, right? So let's make another variable constant. So let's call this message delay, and this will be 0.7, right? And actually, instead of this, we can do speed. Okay, let's leave it like this. And then for the messages, we'll go through all of the messages. So for I message in pairs, messages 2, and then we'll calculate the amount of seconds. So in the beginning it will be 0, so seconds equals 0, and then we'll do local message time, and we'll do, so this will first be the length of the message, okay. So just to make sure, this should be a string. So this will allow us to do len, and then this will be multiplied by the amount of characters. So this will be message, oh sorry, oh yeah, hold a second, the amount of characters times the amount of delay. So this will be the delay. So let's actually make a variable for this too. Yeah, I should have done that actually. Car delay equal like that. And then we can then copy and paste this here. Okay, so for each character, we'll multiply this by the car delay. This is how much time it takes for one message. And there will also be the delay for each message, so we'll do message delay. Okay, and so now we'll increment, or we're not increment, but we'll add this to the seconds. And then we'll return seconds. Okay, so this is pretty good. But now we can then call this from here. But actually, before we do that, let's just see how it works so I can show you how this isn't really... okay, so let's remove... Let's remove this for now. And then let's do print stage to stage 2 or whatever, right? And to go to the next stage, all we have to do is do story stage value was equal to 1. So this increments the story stage value. And this will go to the next stage, but I don't think I actually implemented this in the main script. Let's just ignore this for now. So this should only print when all the dialogues have been generated. But let's see if that really what happens. So let's actually go. If you go on, okay, so it's stage 2. It doesn't actually go through. I think because, okay, oh, it should be stage number 1. It should start at 1. So that was my mistake. I did something off camera. So that's probably it. Okay, there we go. So hello, welcome to the story. As you can see, it finished the stage before it actually finished the dialogue. So that's a problem. And that's the entire reason why we want to call this function. So now we can just use it here. So once after it fires all clients, we'll do local delay time equals utils dot calculate generate text generation, and then dialogue dialogue dot messages. Okay, and that should be in here, delay time. So let's see when this will be printed now. Okay. Okay, so it printed finished stage, but it's not quite done yet. So there's a small margin of it being shorter. So what we could do maybe is increase this a bit. Maybe like, let's say instead of multiplying by car delay, multiplying by car delay in a little bit more. So 0.15, maybe something like this. And so this will give us an extra amount of time. And then instead of just the seconds, we'll just round this up. Okay, so this should give us a good amount of time. Okay. Good luck with finding it. And now it finally prints soon. Okay, finished stage 1. So this is good. So now we have finished this feature, I guess you can say. So we can then increment this, and this will get us to the next stage without any problem, without any overlap. And so this should print stage 2 once we're in stage number 2. But I did also realize in the last tutorial we didn't actually handle the movement between one stage to another. So this only starts stage number 1. So what we could do here is do store stage that change connect function. And then we'll call this again, and then let's actually rename this to next stage. Okay, and then we'll do next stage. Okay, and then I guess we'll change this too, and then this will basically execute the corresponding stage, and that is whatever this value is, right? So we don't need to pass in anything. And if it's the last stage, this will cause an error, so we'll have to make sure to return this. That's also something I forgot last tutorial. So now once we increment this should work automatically, and this will automatically take us to the next stage. And let's see if this works. So this should print after after finish stage 1. So I'm just gonna cut bit so you don't have to wait for this. All right, as you can see, finish stage 1, then stage 2. So we now know that stage 2 is executed. So now on this stage, we can do whatever we want. And in this case, we want to make a new objective from the module that we just made. So let's first start with requiring this. So let's go here. Local objective equals require game directly storage dot modules dot objective. And now let's make a new objective. We'll call this the wood objective since we want to collect wood for a campfire. So local wood objective equals objective, and the constructor we made, which is dot new, and we'll call this whatever name we want. So let's do collect wood, and let's say 6 wood pieces or something like that. And so once we make that, we will see this in our objectives folder. And yeah, okay, let's test this out. Let's test this out. Okay, so let's go directly to store. So as you can see in objectives folder, we have this value, and it's a number value, and basically that's what's used to detect our progress for the objective. So that's good. So now we know this works. So now let's make the methods that we were talking about. And so we want to make sure to initialize this objective, and that and basically initiate this event connection, right? And make it so we can detect the changes of this value, right? So the progress of the objective. So we'll do function objective dot or not dot start, will be colon start, because this is a method of an object, not of a static, not a static function. So once we start this, we will first make this event connection, and we'll connect this to the changing of this value, or not the, oops, oh, I don't know why I highlighted this. Okay, basically, so this object, you want to detect whenever it's changed, and we'll set that event listener to this event connection. So we'll do self the event connection equals self dot objective count, which is the value, dot change connect change connect function, and then we'll put count here. So we can do print +1, so we know we're gaining progress, and then we'll check if this is the amount, if the current amount is, or the value is greater than or equal to the items required. If so, we can then complete the objective. So if or if count greater than equal to self the items required, right? And self would be the current object itself, right? So then we can do objective complete. And then we can end this. So what we could do, we can do self the event connection disconnect, like that. Or we can do another method that will handle this, and that's kind of what I wanted to do. So we'll do function that end, right? And this will handle the disconnection of this event connection. So now we don't have to, basically, so once this ends, we don't have to keep track of this value anymore, and the objective is complete. And after that, we can then handle the story stage value as well. So like this, let's put this here. So story stage, and then we can increment this as well. Okay, so now this will make us go to the next stage automatically without doing anything in this execute function. So we can test this out. Okay, so we'll do objective start. Okay, and this will basically initialize the event connection. So once this is initialized, we can actually see some messages if we change this value, because this will basically listen to any changes from this value if we increment it, right? So if we collect an item, we also want to change this value. I can kind of see how where this is going, but we're going to test very minimally. We haven't really done anything, but we can still test. Okay, so let's wait for this. Okay, so as you can see, we have this. Oops, I have an error with start. Let's see why this is. And the reason is because we didn't return this new object. We want to return this new object because then we will have access to these functions or these methods. So now if we go to what objective start, okay, there we go. Now we can see. Okay, so let's do this again. Okay, so let's see. Hopefully this doesn't get another error. Okay, there we go. So we have collect wood. And then if we change this here, so if we change this, we have to go to the server and change this. So say this is 3. It will print this message. So that means it's detecting these changes. So if you go to 6, this will be the amount of items required, remember. If you go to this, oops, enter, okay, objective complete, because this is the amount we are required to collect anyways. And as you can see, it says objective complete. So now we know this is how it works from a minimalist perspective. Now we can actually make the actual objective itself, and we can just like spawn some items to collect. So we're going to spawn like some parts that the players can collect, and this will increment this value, right? This objective count value. So this is going to be pretty interesting. So I think I'm just going to make something really simple. So folder, and then we'll call this wood spawns, and then we'll make parts. So part. Let's make this non-collidable and anchored. Okay, like that. Let's make this like transparent. Okay, whatever. But this is just to locate, to act as spawn locations, really. So we just want like 6 of these. We're not gonna really randomize it. I think that would be too much work. You can if you want though. I just want to make something very quick and simple, and then maybe refine this later on. So I think this should be good. So we have 6. Okay, so we can put this. We don't want to put this in workspace. Let's put this in service storage so no one can just look at it and then find all the wood just by exploiting. And then let's just make an asset we can make, I guess. So let's say this is a wood log or something like that. Okay, this is good. Let's call this wood model. Let's put this in server storage as well, and let's actually make a folder for this. Let's call this assets. Okay, there we go. So now you can just work on spawning these. So you can make an external function for this, maybe like in utilities. I don't really care. I'd rather just make it like in the actual execute function. So we'll just like go through all of these spawns and spawn into a wood model. But it's up to you. You can make an external function. I'm just gonna make this like right here. So once this is started, we'll just spawn the actual wood models. So let's actually get the server storage. So local server storage. Game get service server storage. So now we can do so local wood model equal server storage, wait for child, or not wait for child, we don't need wait for child, so wait for, okay, assets, that wood model. Okay, and then so local wood spawns equal server storage dot wood spawn. So for I spawn in pairs, wood spawns do. So local, oops, why did it do that? Okay, local wood clone equals wood model clone wood clone dot c frame equals spawn dot c frame wood clone dot parent equals workspace. So that should be it. So for each spawn, there's going to be a model wood that you can collect in that same position. So there's going to be 6, and those are going to be where the spawns are. Okay. Okay, and so for each one, we want to detect when it's touched, and once it's touched, we can then increment this objective count value. All right, and we have access to this from this objective object, and that's the entire point, right? So easier access. So if you go here, we'll do wood clone dot touch connect function. Hit. Okay, so we'll check if it's a player. So local player equal game dot player get player from character hit dot parent. So if it's a player, then if the player, then we'll do wood objective dot objective count that value plus equals 1. And this is pretty good because, well, we have direct access to it. We don't have to look through replicate storage or like through this folder or anything. So we have direct access. So this is going to be pretty simple. All right. And then before that, let's actually destroy this wood clone. And another thing too, before the player could touch it, like this event could fire multiple times before this is destroyed. So that's something that we want to avoid. So we can just make like a value like this. So local collected false, and then if collected, then return. So we want to stop if it's already collected. Otherwise, we set this to true. So okay. So once it's collected, we don't want to increment this value anymore, right? Because that would be basically cheating, right? And that wouldn't really be fair to the game. Okay, so once we have this objective, it should spawn all of this wood around the map, and then we should be able to collect it and increase the objective count value. So let's see if this will work. So let's play. And another thing, oh, I think I forgot one more thing to do. I didn't even change the messages. So okay. So yeah, obviously for the messages, you want to change it based on the objective. So let's say you want to do something like night is approaching, dot, 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 and we should make a campfire to warm us up. All right. And collect 6 pieces of firewood for the campfire. Right? And this will be the messages associated with the second stage, which is the same stage we're basically giving this objective. Okay. And another hack you can do also, so for the server skip service, we can change this to 2, so we'll skip the first stage, since we're really just testing out the second stage. So that will save us some time. So now we can actually see how this works. Okay, something wrong. Wood spawns. Wood spawns should be get children. Okay. There you go. It spawns some wood, but for some reason it doesn't. Oh yeah, that's right. So we didn't actually go through the dialogues. That's something I forgot to do. So we're just gonna copy this same function, or these lines of code here. I'll go through all of them. So this might be just a bit repetitive. So there might be something I could do that will reduce the repetitive the the repetition of this, but probably sometime in the future. So let's actually see how this works. So this should be the second stage. All right, night is approaching. You should make a campfire to warm us up. Collect 6 pieces of firewood for the campfire. All right, so it spawns us the wood. So let's actually speed some stuff. So let's go into my character and let's make this like very fast, okay? So it increases it, and you can actually check this through the value. So as you can see, it's increasing. And once we collect all 7, or not all 6 wood pieces, we should have a message called objective complete. Okay, we have 5. There's one more, okay, here. There you go. Now it says objective complete, so that means this objective has been completed. So there's one last thing that we want to do, and that is obviously displaying the progress for all the players. So we can just make a quick UI for this. So let's go on the dialog. Let's duplicate this. Let's call this objective. And let's put this like here and make this like a bit smaller. Oops, not like that. Let's actually see this. Let's remove this. I don't want that. Let's make this in the center. Like that. Makes this text scaled. Okay, so I want to do something real quick. So collect dot or whatever. It's a placeholder. And then we'll call this label. And then we'll make another text for the progress. Move this down here. And we'll do 0 out of like something like that. I don't know, whatever. Oh wow, okay. Alright, so this looks good. Something like this. And so now once we make this, we'll just have a remote event that fires once an objective starts, and this will basically appear and keep track of the progress from the client side. So let's actually make a remote event. So let's call this display progress. So we'll do local display progress equals game.replicate storage child remotes child display progress. And so we'll do display progress, the on client event connect function. So once this is fired from the server to the client, we want to pass the objective object. So this objective will have all the information that we need. So the items required, the name of the objective, and the current amount of items collected. All right. So we'll have something like, so we want to clone this. So local progress frame equals script.parent.objective clone progress frame dot label equals objective dot name progress frame dot text or dot progress here. Okay, progress dot text. And I forgot, oh yeah, this should be label.text. Yep, I forgot about that. Progress.text equals 0 out of the amount of required items to collect. So objective, the items required. And then this should be a string, so to string this. Okay, progress frame, the visible equals true. Progress frame dot parent equals script dot parent. All right, so that will initialize everything. So now we want to then detect the changes of this this objective value, this objective count value, and update the GUI accordingly. So we can easily get this from the objective object. So we'll do objective dot objective count should be spelled correctly. Chain connect. Okay, so this will be the number, the count. So we'll do progress.text. So we'll copy this. So instead of 0, this will be the number. So toString v dot that. Okay, so this will be the count out of the total amount, right? So then we'll have to check. So if v is greater than objective, the items required, then we will basically end this connection and destroy the progress frame because we don't need it anymore. Right, so we can make a connection, a local connection, no, and then we'll set it to this connection, this changed connection, this changed connection. It's event listener, so now we'll end this event listener because we don't need it anymore. Okay, because we basically finished the objective, right? So now we don't need to keep track of the objective count. All right, so that looks pretty self-explanatory. Keeps track. So obviously now we need to fire this from the server on the client. So we can do this from the objective, right? Once it starts, we can actually fire this to all the clients. So we'll do, let's see here. We'll do, let's first get this. So local display progress mode equal game record storage most.display progress, and then we'll do display progress fire all clients, and we'll just pass in self, which is the object that we made, the object we made. And now that should be it. Okay. And one more thing I could do is destroy the objective count once we're done this. So we'll do like wait2, because we don't want this to interfere with the local script right here. We'll wait2 self the objective count destroy. Okay, so that looks like that's all we need. Okay, let's test this out. So we can then make this invisible. We don't need this. Okay. All right, so it should appear after all the dialogue has finished. Collect 6 pieces of firewood for the campfire. All right, so as you can see, it shows us this UI. So let's say we want to collect this. It appears in our GUI. So let's just speed run through this. So let's go back and speed us up again. Okay. And it says objective complete. And now we're on the 3rd stage. So pretty cool. Pretty cool. And we can actually check this. Oh, we can't check it on the client, but yeah. So that's pretty much it. We just made an objective, right? We completed an objective and now it's on the next stage. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I think it was kind of lengthy, but it kind of went over basically the objective model and how to basically just modularizes everything. So it's more organized. That's kind of the entire point of me making this story-based game. In the future, we're going to definitely be still using these modules because there's going to be lots of objectives for a story-based game, right? There's objectives everywhere. And so that's why this module is pretty important, just to kind of understand. The object-oriented programming part is a bit complicated, so I do urge you to learn a bit more about that and about like meta tables and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I can continue more of these tutorials because this is pretty exciting. And if you want more, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below, and join our Discord server because it's pretty dead. Nah, I'm joking. But yeah, so pretty cool tutorial, and we'll see you guys in the next story-based game.